podcast. My name is Agnes and I'm here with Patricia.
Hi, my name is Patricia. Welcome to Caesar Podcast, where we aim to educate, entertain, and inform. Today we are so excited and honored to have with us an author, a father, an Amazon bestseller, and this is none other than
Chidi Iwuchukwu. Chidi wears so many hats, and today we are going to pull one of the hats off. He's an award-winning banker, a bestseller, a speaker, and a settlement advocate. Chidi came here in 2017, and he has produced one of the best books that I should have read before I came to Canada 15 years ago. And today we are here to interview him on the book, not just on the book, but his own experience and the experiences of many other immigrants who never got their hands on this book before they came here and the challenges they have been going through. Thank you, Chidi.
Thank you so much, ladies, for having me.
We are honored. I'm so excited.
The pleasure is mine.
we have introduced you. May you introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and where you come from.
My name is Chidi, originally from Nigeria. I am the best-selling author of Coming to Canada, the Ultimate Success Guide for New Immigrants and Travelers. The book draws from broadly three experiences I've had. Number one is my personal experience as a recent newcomer. Number two is the work I've done in the community, helping other people to come in, settle and thrive. And number three, obviously, is the work I've also done with the organizations, the ecosystem, the organizations that support newcomers in Canada. So all of that experience I put together in so that those who are coming behind us would not make the same mistake that we've made. And it would be a lot easier for them because we came in and we're looking for that comprehensive resource that can speak to us through the whole settlement journey, the maze, and we didn't find it. And I felt, okay, since it wasn't there, might as well contribute to that effort.
It's quite a resource, really.
Yes. And I think we've already answered the question that I was going to ask you. What's your intention for writing this book? And it's like, as a resource.
Yeah, the truth is there are gaps in the market, in the society, in the field, in the country. What Canada sells to us when we're outside and what we find when we come in are two different things.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
We have this idea that Canada is somewhere you go to and everything works perfectly well.
Yes.
And it's not a misplaced dream. But the reality when we come in is that it's not always like that.
No.
Especially for people from certain part of the world,
Yes.
and especially for people from with a certain background. So the Canadian experience, the Canadian journey differs from person to person. But overall, there's a common thing that runs through it, which is that you need to be resilient to survive here.
Yes.
And that there are stages to that journey. So that's why we decided to put this book together, so that it's easier for somebody to say, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, this is what is falling in next. More like a checklist and then encouragement along the way to say, you are not alone. What you are going through is not just unique to you.
Yes.
It might be unique in the sense that each person's story and journey is different, but overall, we all have gone through this in some way or the other.
Thank you. If you have just joined us, we are talking to Chidi Iwuchukwu. He's the best-selling author of this book, Coming to Canada. And the book came out in
2020 November.
2020. And it is 2 years
Oh,
old.
2021, sorry.
2021. Yes, it should have come out in 1965 when my grandfather came to Canada. But it's never too late because more of our kind, that is new immigrants, are going to come to this country over and over, and we can't overemphasize how resourceful this book is. You know what? We don't want you to get all the gist, but at the same time, I really want him to tell us much about some of the topics that I read and I got like blown off. So we will start from this quote that I saw in the book. You said this, Chidi. Sometimes you must stake all you have on a vision only you can see.
It's only you can say it, so the other people don't say it.
Yes, so the vision of coming to Canada is like the Canadian dream. And maybe you are the only person who sees. I really want you to emphasize on that and explain it more to us.
So before I came to Canada, I was a middle-level banker. I was a senior manager in the bank. And I had, my wife and I, we had an event planning business on the side.
Wow.
So we had more or less comfortable life.
Yes.
As a way of where we're coming from. And so when we decided to take this step, a lot of our people, family, friends were asking, what else do you want? You're here, you're comfortable, you're widely travel, you can go on holidays, and even going on holidays, you can go to any country you wanted to. But there was something much more that I could see, especially from where I was then, the political horizon, and then, of course, the global opportunities that will exist for me as a Canadian.
Yes.
And it was that vision that there's more out there and I need to be on the global stage to play that made me say, okay, I'm going to do this. Even when people didn't think.
And that's the vision you alone see.
Yeah,
Very
that
good.
vision that I held on. So like
Yes.
the opportunities, the capacity, the things that come around being a Canadian, and the opportunity gives you at the global stage and the space you have. Not many people saw it at that particular time.
No.
But it then happens that 2-3 years down the line, people have been calling me to say, how did you get to know about this and all that? And this is how my life has been. I think every time, about 5 years, 10 years from now, what kind of life is it going to be? What kind of society are we going to live? I usually have 10, 5, 15-year plan. And the idea is I was lucky to have done work under leaders in my career as a banker that do a lot of forecast. So we sit down and say, what is it that we're seeing in society today, and where is this likely going to happen in terms of this trend? Not only that I did it at work, I also put it in my own personal life. So I sit down and ask myself, with this trend going on, where is this likely to get to? And is that vision that at that particular moment only me can see? I get into it and I stick to it and I deliver, and then 5 years down the line, people will say you're lucky. Things they like to belong, kids like to do at that age is to do what their friends like, to be popular with their friends. And some of those things that they want to do that are popular are things that are against their value.
Yes.
Right? So how do you express your concern to them in such a manner that they feel you understand what they're going through, you love them,
That's our challenge.
and then you are also noting that the consequences in the event that they continue on that pathway
Will not help. Yes.
will not help. So it's not an easy thing, and that's why when I tell people, when people say I want to come to Canada, and I say to them, yeah, it's okay, and I will work. I want everybody to come. The more the merrier. But get this book. They think it's just about me. It's trying to sell my book. I said, get this book so you have an idea of what it
you are
looks
getting
like.
yourself into.
Somebody bought this book and gave to a family friend that was on vacation. And after reading this, the guy says, I'm not coming to Canada. and I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. He says, I'm not coming. You mean this is what you guys have gone through here?
Have gone through, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
If you have
the
just
process.
joined us, this is Sizwe Podcast, and we are talking to Chidi Iwuchukwu. He's the author of Coming to Canada. And if you haven't gotten your hand on this book, please look for it. Even if you have been here for 10 years or 5 years, you are still struggling to settle. It is one of the things that will bring you a lot of comfort. We have so much to talk about today with him, but we also have to be mindful of our time and his time. So we are bringing him back the second time. I know.
The second
Patricia,
part.
what do you have to say?
I am still saying that we need another book from you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
now we want you to talk to those people who come here as refugees. Their experience is different.
Okay.
And we want to hear from them. What was their experience? What were their challenges?
Okay.
So I think you are the best person for that.
And to be honest, there's a second book in the work,
Oh, tell us about
and
it.
then there's a third one, which is an idea. The second book in the work, well, not from the angle you're looking at it, but it's more like you've come to Canada, and so we're helping you to settle. Now here is a book to help you manage your finance, which is one big thing here, so that you
Yes.
don't go ruin yourself. You're able to save, you're able to invest, and you're able to empower both yourself, your family, and the community. Because I'm very big on immigrant empowerment.
Yes.
It's something I want to do, it's something I want to talk about. So the book is a little bit around building financial resilience as
an
an immigrant family. And then after that, I want to talk to men about something that is dear to me as well, which is about men's health.
Exactly.
Men
Awesome.
don't,
Yeah.
you know how we are.
You don't go to the doctor.
We don't go
No.
to that level. And the title of that book will probably be Dying in the Midst of Plenty.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have every healthcare available.
Free.
Yes.
For free, right?
Yes.
But to make that time to go to the doctor, you are showing, and then by the time you know it,
It's
the
so late,
problem is already late.
Yes.
Okay. So there are a couple of conversations that will happen when those books come out or when we finish with them. But it's important that, like you said, we capture the experience of everybody on this Canada.
Yes.
And I could say, obviously, because this is more of my experience, and I came in as a Federal Express entry person.
Yes.
This is what it is. We can talk about the refugees, and we can have conversations and write books and platforms and all that to get them to have that conversation. The challenge I have on that fold is two ways. Number one is, will I be encouraging people to take unnecessary risk
Or to come in as a refugee.
to come in as refugees? Because some people, I understand the part where, for example, we are fleeing from oppression, war, disaster, etc., etc. But there are the other ones where people don't want to follow the rules
Yeah.
Yes.
to come in.
Yes.
They want to come in and then they declare refugees.
Refugees, yeah.
Refugees. The challenge with that is that you know how difficult it is for you that came in as a landed immigrant
Okay.
to
Yes.
settle.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
alone.
So you don't want people to take that route.
Yeah.
Right, to say you want to abandon everything when you don't have have an issue. So my take would be to encourage people more to say whatever it takes you, however, because there are so many pathways to come into Canada legally.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are so many pathways. Find the one that is important, that's best suited for your situation, and come in. But if you're coming from running away from oppression, war,
Those people are coming from refugee camps.
and all
Yes.
that. Their story needs to be told, and it's important that we do some work on that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chidi. It is a great honor to have you in our studio and to have this book. Like, I can't overemphasize. If you are watching us, please get this book, because it will save you a lot of challenges in your first 5 years of coming to Canada. And like I said, we will bring in him back to talk about other issues in the book. He has just scratched the surface of many other things. He didn't talk about the black tax, which I am so much interested the next time we come here. And I am a victim of that. And I am happy that he's writing a book about how to manage our finances, which is the great thing that I myself need to, and most of us as immigrants. So we will bring him back and we will continue the conversation. If you just join us, sorry, join us the next time. And I'm here with Patricia, and this is Seasway Foundation. And thank you everyone for joining us. But before we go, Chidi, what is your last word?
Canada is interesting. Canada is a great place to come in. Canada offers us a lot in terms of opportunities, but we have to be very, very resilient.
Oh,
Very, very resilient in the decision to come. Or even when we're here, we have to be very resilient. It will not happen in one day, but I can bet you if you work well, it's going to happen. My very last word, and I'll sign up, is for those who are already in Canada, let's be bold to take the opportunities that we have in this land.
thank you.
Amen.
Now it looks like I'm being disarmed.
You have been disarmed, and now I have to manage my words and my body language.
Yes.
And I have to be careful, okay? Now, what most people would do is to play into that vulnerability. What most women, sorry about that, I'm being very direct because we need to be very direct about
Yes,
it.
yeah.
What most women do is to play into that vulnerability, to use that as a threat, to say, you can't talk, you can't do this, I'm going to go call the police for you. And actually go out to go call police or social
Oh yeah,
workers.
this morning somebody called me in my car and he said, we were talking about something. He said, Agnes, I can't be there because my wife kicked me out.
Right? No, so,
And I'm like, did you hit her? She said, no. So what did you do? She said, Agnes, I can't talk to you on the phone. Do you want to come so we sit down and talk? And like you like a grown man trying to find a way to get the issue solved before Monday he goes to court.
yeah.
And I felt for him.
Yeah. So, if you engage in that power struggle, everybody loses at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
That's just one thing I want to get across. Everybody loses at the end because you think, okay, so I have the right to move the way I want, do whatever I want to do, and all that. Hello, sister. The truth is, those who are outside wish they had a man they can lean on. Wish they had somebody in the house that can help them out, and more importantly, provide that discipline that the kids need.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm able to discipline my kids because I have a special relationship with them.
Yes.
That's different from the relationship you have with them. They come out from they come out from your body,
Yes.
right? So there's no way it will be the same relationship.
No.
Number one. Number two is you love your kids, and we understand mothers love their kids to death. And that's why nature put it and God put it that the dad is there. The dad is the person who says, you might hate me today, but we need to correct this now because before it becomes a bigger issue in the future.
Yes.
And so the dad is willing to go through that process of being unpopular in the house.
Very good. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Being unpopular and be the person that nobody likes around and that's why for us men, it's a very funny lot we have, right? Nobody appreciates us until we are no more.
It's true.
Most men, you see, we say, it's only when my dad died that I now realized what he was doing for us, right? And so I encourage men to say, go on with the job, do the things you need to do, but do not expect that somebody, apart from Father's Day, where somebody remembers to buy you a tie.
And the Mother's Day, when everybody's talking about it from the 3 months before the Mother's Day.
Right? Mothers have like four Mother's Day. So
the Women's Day, yes.
And the Women's Day. So that's what it is. So my appeal to our people is to understand the dynamics, which is what you are fighting. It's not that same person that you live with for 15, 20 years before you came here. That person haven't changed. That person haven't changed. But it's the environmental pressures.
Yes.
Right? That is
fighting.
that you are fighting. And if you don't unite to fight it, it's going to be a problem.
That's wonderful.
You have another one? Because I can keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one, I am a mother, and unfortunately I came here 6 years before my family joined me. And you speak so well about bringing up children in these two cultures, which I am like a testament of the challenges that most parents go through. And how does that come into the Canadian experience or the dream that the couple, okay, we are going to Canada, where everything is good. Our kids will get the best education, blah, 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 blah. And then you get here. Talk about the challenges that these parents face when they are trying to raise their children at home and the challenges they face trying to get them to accept their culture in all entirety.
Okay. See, the truth is that sometimes we don't know that relocation is an adverse childhood experience. It's something that is not as rosy for the kids like we think. And the reason why is, think about it this way. All of a sudden, you are pulled out from shore ground, where the school that you've known, the friends you've made, the family that you know, the grandpas, the grandmas, and you are brought into this country So, and in some instances, there are so many more transition going on in the life of the kids that we don't account for. And the reason why we don't account for them is because they don't have the ability to convey to us in a way that we can understand and help them.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. So if a child is like 12 years old and you bring the child here, that child is going through the transition into a new country, number one. Transition to a new school, number two. Transition to new curriculum.
Yes.
Not having friends, maybe being thrown into this sea of whiteness that is just maybe one or two people that are black.
Yeah, my daughter says, I think I've seen only one black kid in my school.
Exactly, and they don't know how to handle all of this. Now, let's even get personal. They are also transitioning into poverty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Poverty. And poverty comes in with its own struggle.
Yes.
Right? So you are beginning to create a different identity for yourself. You're understanding your body, you're understanding yourself, you're understanding the world from your own perspective. So all of these transitions are going on at the same time. Remember, you also as a parent, you're also struggling, trying to find a job. Trying to do all the things to put food on the table. And so there are a lot of transitions going on at the same time. Okay. So in addition to that is you're also now learning how to parent from an intercultural perspective. The intercultural perspective is that the things that used to be legal and acceptable in the culture where you're coming from are no longer like that. So your ability to navigate all of this is what makes you that successful Canadian. So successful Canadians, and I need to state this, are not just those who are being paid $250,000 per annum. It's the ability to navigate all of these challenges at the same time and in such a way that you hold back the family together as you move. Discipline from an intercultural perspective will be another topic that we can talk about.
You also talk about the mindset. What was the biggest cultural shock that you had when you got here?
And that's a very great question. We've been widely traveled, so we've known the North American, the European culture will be different from our own culture back home, from where we are in Africa, from where we came from. But that's having been around the world a little bit did not stop us from feeling out of place in a little bit from the cultural perspective.
Yes.
So you come into Canada, and people from my country were very boisterous. From the part of the world where we come from, we're very boisterous. We have energy. We are aggressive. So the first thing that you notice is Canadians are not as aggressive.
Yes.
Right? So
they are laid back.
Canadians are much more laid back, much more diplomatic in the way they interact with people.
Yes.
So it was the first culture shock in the sense that we then had to moderate our conversation, our body language, to make sure that we don't stick out like making sure when you go out you queue, when you're talking to people you talk with a low voice in organizations where you work, even at home. The biggest part of it was asking people, giving people direction, but making it in form of a request.
Yes.
So do you want to open the door when I should have been saying please open the door?
Yes.
Right. That's one. Then the other part is the code, of course.
Yes.
Nobody gets, it doesn't matter how many, let me put it this way, even Canadians who are born in this code are not used to the code.
Yes.
Yeah. they still complain every year when the winter. Yeah.
And so for people like us who came all the way from close to the equator to come here and meet this, sometimes you just ask yourself, what the heck am I doing?
Yes. We've asked the question like
right. And then I think the last part of that cultural shock is the respect and the dignity that is accorded to the human person in Canada.
Yes.
Right. So even though racism is a thing, but when you interact with the officers of the state,
yes,
you see that they are guarded, much more guarded in their reactions to you. Even if they want to discriminate against you, they're not very brazen about it.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think the biggest was the fact that once you land here as a permanent resident or whatever, you get the same rights, the same
everybody else.
experience as everybody else who have been here for years. And that was great.
You know what? Like you are lining up your list of cultural shock, and I'm looking at you, and I'm like, I never thought about that. Like, you know, everybody's experience about cultural shock are so different.
Yes.
And for me to listen to you, I didn't even look at it that way. Like you have so much positive cultural shock, to put it that way, than most of us. Like for me, with the exception of the cold, if you ask me my cultural shock, you don't want to hear it.
I think you are right in the sense, you see, the truth is that there are some things that are negative and positive in every culture.
Yes.
Correct? That's one. Two is people come to Canada with this rosy eye that so many things are going to work out well.
Yes.
And all that. And once the land, things they pick up. It's not like that. Okay, it's a misplaced optimism, and you're right. Maybe I just show that bright side. The other side of it was how long it took us to get a job.
Yes.
For example.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you are talking about learning the difference between a resume and a CV. And then going for interview, cover letters, etc.
Yes, you're like,
and all those. So there are so many of them, but if we start talking about the Canadian experience, and you are right, everybody has their own.
yeah, yes.
I have had my own fair share of implicit bias, of racism, but I if you notice, I tend to look at things from a bright point of view, from a positive point of view, because
it's cool. It appeared so clearly in each of the pages that I turn, and that is the beauty of this book.
Yes.
Telling the truth.
I'm an incredible optimist. I believe that things will always get better.
Thank you. If you just join us and you have just come to Canada, this is the book for you. When I came here, I didn't, like Chidi said, I didn't know there was minus 25. And even if somebody told me, I didn't know how minus 25 felt. But this book will tell you so much that if you have a family who is preparing to come, please get a copy, send this book to them. It will save them 5 years of the time that they will have to learn so many things. And thank you, Chidi, for giving us this treasure.
And never leaving a stone unturned, because you spoke about cell phones, how to get a cell phone.
How to get a cell phone.
How to get a healthcare card. How to find the registry. All those things, we never thought about them.
No.
And then we were told, go get this. Where do I get it?
Yes.
But we are so thankful you wrote all about this. Can you tell us more about how these things can help people?
So it's always important and helpful, I think, that you have a guide before you embark onto a journey. If the Canadian experience, or certainly in Canada, is like when you're driving in the night. Your eyes can only see as far as your headlight.
Yes.
The rest of it is hope and faith.
Yes.
Right?
Awesome. Yes.
You are driving up to that level because you are hoping that nothing. By the time you get there, you also get the other one, right? So it's the same process here, the same thing here, the same thinking here. When you embark on this journey, it's like onions. So there are layers to it. So you peel out one layer, it shows you another one, peels out one layer. It's very frustrating for people when they don't know what to expect next.
Tell me about that.
So what the book sets out to do is to let you know these are the issues you're going to meet ahead of time, and these are the challenges that come with those at those points, and these are the ways you can consider. Again, all of them suggestions. Consider solving them. It gives you the scenario you're going to see for sure. You're going to see this. It tells you what you're going to do, or what I have done when I go to that level. And then it also gives that opportunity to say, you might drop the book or not use this advice and figure it out yourself. But like Agnes has said, you have something in your hands that can shorten that process by over 5 years.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful you put it in that way, and that's a very great way of saying it. So those items, as they are, as I listed them out in the book, can save you a lot of headache figuring out what do I do, what don't I do, etc., etc. So if I were to be somebody coming to Canada today and I have this book, I probably will have it with a lot of pencil marks on it,
Yes, like
Yes.
that, yeah.
stating the things
Just
that
like what I did.